Everybody mute yourself. We will start in few minutes. Good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So, can anybody unmute themselves and recall what we have covered yesterday? Anyone? Yes, good evening, everyone. Akriti, are you there in the session?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so just recall me what we have done yesterday.
Ma'am, firstly, we covered the synchronous and asynchronous programming. Then is async await function. After that, you taught promises and error handling. And the last topic is modules.
Yes, yes. Any doubts? Anybody who has read about these topics and anything you want to discuss? Okay, so tell me about what is synchronous programming. Tell me about synchronous as well as asynchronous programming. Execution of tasks one at a time. Each instruction waits for its previous instruction to complete. So this is the definition for which type of programming we. Synchronous, right. And what about asynchronous programming? Yes, concurrent execution of tasks, or we can say parallel execution of tasks. So that is parallel programming. And what do you mean by modules in Node? Yes, it is a kind of set of functions that we can already use and we do not have to write it from scratch. Yes, self-contained unit of code. Okay, so I hope everything is cleared up till here. So today, let me share my screen. Okay, so we'll start with Node.js module over here. Node.js first module that you will see prominently is the HTTP module. We have also done one of the example of HTTP module only. Okay, so let's see what is this HTTP module. The built-in HTTP module. Node.js includes a powerful built-in HTTP module that enables us to create HTTP servers and make HTTP requests. As we have already seen, that we have created a server which was running on the port 8080, and for that we haven't used any Express.js library, and we directly use this particular module which was HTTP, and we were able to create the HTTP server that was running at our uh, port 8080. This module is essential for building web applications and APIs in Node.js. So a small example we have already seen where we have created four different routes for that. First one was the root route, and second one was the um, home route, about route, and the contact route. So four pages we have created. So what are the key features of this particular HTTP module? It creates HTTP servers to handle requests and send responses, make HTTP requests to other servers, handle different HTTP methods, get, post, put, delete, etc. So we have discussed about the get request, work with request and response headers, and handle streaming data for large payloads. So that were the key features. Let's dive into this. So initially they have required the library module, which is HTTP, by using this require keyword. We have already seen this. Creating an HTTP server. So whenever we want to create the HTTP server, we use this create server method. The HTTP modules create server method creates an HTTP server that listens for requests on a specified port. So we have seen that we were specifying the port, which was 8080, and executes a callback function for each request. So let's break this down. This particular port, first of all, they have imported the HTTP module by using this require method. And after that, we are creating the server for which will run on our browser. Initially, the server will be the variable over here that will be used to access the server, and they have used the HTTP. So from this particular HTTP module, which is stored in this HTTP variable, we are trying to access the create server function. So since we already know that all the modules have predefined functions inside them, so from this HTTP module, we are trying to access this create server method, in which two parameters are being passed, which is request and response over here. Now, what is happening over here? It is trying to respond. So this res is res is the response. So this response is using the write head function, where content type text plain. So it is a format that will just tell the browser what kind of content we are trying to write. So set it is setting the response HTTP header with HTTP status and content type over here. Next is, so this particular response.end will be the main thing that will be shown on our browser, which is hello world. So this particular text, which is inside the end function, end method, will be shown in our browser. On which port it will be shown? It will be shown on the port. So over here they have used this port variable. Initially they must have defined the port, defined the port initially on const. So port must be defined initially const response.end. Mm, the port is not there. Let me see. Right head and const port. Yeah, port is not defined over here. So we will just define the port as, okay, so here it is suggesting me 3000. That is okay. So initially we have defined, we were trying to run our server, create a server on the port 8080, but for now it is taking an example of 3000. That is up to us on whichever port we are trying to run. It will work fine. So let's run this one, node app.js. Server running at HTTP. So why it is being consoled? Because over here, when we have created this server, so we are trying to listen it. So this particular method, which is listen, will help us to connect to our server on this particular port. So this listen method basically takes two parameters. First one is the variable, basically the port number on which the server will run, and on the second one will be the local host, or the second parameter which is essential will be the callback function that will be performing whatever functionality we want to be served as when our server will be created. So we can see server running at the particular port, which is 3000 over here, and on this root node we will see the browser running. So let's go to our browser. So pasting the same localhost 3000, can see hello world over here. Why is that so? Because over here we are trying to respond to the server as hello world. If we change the string, we can see hello world. I hope you all are fine. So that is because whatever string we are giving over here, response.end, we can see the string over there. So that is how we can use the HTTP module in our local system. Is it clear? So just paste your screenshots in the chat box so that I can see. And one more thing, since over here you have seen that whenever I make changes to my main file, I have to stop the server and again run the server. So for that, we can use nodemon. So any idea about what is nodemon? Anybody who has used this before? Okay, so basically nodemon is
Ma'am,
a kind of yes, Anshuman.
ma'am, in Node.js we don't need to run the code every. We don't need to write to start the code by one. When we save the code after update the any code, it automatically save and run.
Starts a server, yes. It immediately starts the server as soon as we imply changes. It and refreshes the page whenever we make a change to it. That's the script to restart. Yes, you all are right. So since you have seen that whenever I make changes to my file, I have to stop the server and again restart the server by node app.js. So to explicitly, we can prevent this particular step that changing the file and making changes to our main file and starting the server again and again, we can just use nodemon. It is a kind of utility that will prevent us to restart the server again and again. And if in case anybody who has not used nodemon, you just have to write the command, which is npm install -g nodemon. So that will just install the uh, particular library, which is this utility, which is already present in the node. Try to install this nodemon at your uh, whole drive. If you are using the C drive, basically try to install this particular utility globally. By globally, I mean that inside your whole drive. If you are in the C drive and you have created multiple folders inside C drive, so just try to install the your node one globally. If I give you the steps, so go to your CMD and you can see over here which I have C users and my name. So just I will go to my previous directory and I will try to install my nodemon over this particular drive. So that will install the nodemon globally. And whenever I use a nodemon in any of the files, I will just have to write nodemon. So now after installing this, you just have to write nodemon app.js and it will automatically start the server. Like if I show you over here, let me close the server, nodemon app.js. I won't have to use, like you can see, four different lines. Server running at HTTP localhost. And now if I make any changes over here, if I'm making changes and saving it, you can see the server has automatically started and the save I can see over here. We installed nodemon. So if someone is new to this particular keyword nodemon, is it clear to you all? If you haven't used this nodemon before, Good. Anybody who is having any problem while installing this node more? So just let me know and I will just see if you are having any problem. I am getting very few screenshots. What is between node one? So basically, node one is a utility. Like if you see over here, for example, I am using writing node app.js. Okay. So I will see the changes, which is hello world. I hope you all are fine. We installed node one. And now if I make changes to my file, so I have just added some string and I'm making changes. Nothing is being, so the server has already started. No changes has been made. And we can see over here trying to refresh it, but the changes that we have made over here is not being presented, is not showing over here, right? So the changes that I have made best is not showing over there. So what I have to do is I have to stop the server and again start it, which is using node app.js, and then I will be able to see the changes over here by refreshing it. That is best. And so this is not a good thing when you will create your whole website. So you won't be uh, starting the server again and again. So for that, we install nodemon. Nodemon. So how this help us? So you just have to write nodemon and the name of your file, the main file, and the server will automatically start. If now I make some changes, like if I remove this best and I am saving it, the server will automatically start, and by just refreshing it, I will get the best remove. And now if I make changes again, for example, I write the best again, some few strings, saving it, the server has automatically started, and the same can be seen over here. The best has been automatically appended to my previous tree. So that is how nodemon helps us. And if you want to install nodemon and you do not have installed previously in your system, so you just have to go to your particular drive, try to install it globally. By globally, I mean in whichever folder you create folders for your VS Code for practicing coding skills and making websites. Just go to that particular drive. And for example, if you will go to your CMD, which is command prompt, open, you will see this kind of particular file in which you will your default by default folder will be there. So just go to cd dot dot, that will just make you go to your previous directory, which is my user. And if I again go to my previous directory, it will be C drive. So try to install your nodemon globally, which is over here C drive. If you are using D drive or any drive, so just install over there. So what will happen whenever you will try to install, um, try to start your server, if in any of the file, it will automatically start it. Even if you are not going to this about your previous directory, over here, this hyphen G also stands for globally. So even if you are not going to your previous directory, it will automatically download it in your global file only, which is because npm install and hyphen G stands for the global. But it will be good if you go it manually and just try to download it so that you will know why you are doing it. Because just copying the same command and just running it won't be good. You should know what you are doing and why you are doing. Is it okay, Archana? Okay. So I want screenshots from your end so that I will know that you all are able to run the code and you all are understanding it. That is the only way you can communicate with me.
Ma'am, in my chat box, no any option to share like screenshots in only for chat available.
Okay. How many of you are facing the same problem? Just raise your hand. Rocky, I can see you were messaging a few minutes before. Like I have seen your chat. Anybody else? Apart from Gaurav, Balayesu and Ashish, who do not have access to the chat. Okay. Okay, I will ask from sir. He will just resolve this issue for you.
Okay,
And
ma'am.
what about
Yep.
others? Why am I not? Yes, Gaurav. Why am I not getting screenshots from your end? Okay, good. Ashish, you can now unraise your hand. I have just noted your names. I will just let sir know about this. Okay, so moving back, we have seen how the HTTP create server for us. So it is just explaining the same code. Understanding the code, HTTP dot create server creates a new HTTP server instance that we have seen inside this local host. The callback function is executed for each request with two parameters, which is request and the response. Response dot write head sets the response status code and headers. Response dot end sends the response and ends the connection. And server dot listen is for starting the server on the specified port. So response dot end and this server dot listen are the two methods, two statements that are starting the server, and response dot end is the one which is sending the response and then again simultaneously ending the server also, ending the connection. So next is running the server. So if we want to run the server, we can either use node and the name of the file, or we can just use nodemon and the name of the file. So working with HTTP headers lets you send additional information with your response. And the response.write head method is used to set the status code and response headers. Like we have seen, we can see over here also, there are multiple other parameters also that can be set using this write head. Like they have set the cookie. So when you will use the backend, you will have and you will introduce authentication system in your websites. You will set the cookies so that no unauthorized person can access to your website. So then you will get to know about what is the use of cookie and all. And even the cache control will you will see later on. So over here, if I just explain you the code simply, they have just required the module, which is HTTP. And by using this particular line, which is const server and HTTP dot create server, a server is being created whose name is server over here only. And then by using this response dot write head, they have set the few parameters that they would require. And after that, whenever after the server has been created and the functionality has been performed, what functionality will be performed? This hello world will be printed, which will be inside the H1 tag. So it will be a heading that will be printed. And after that, the server will automatically be disconnected. And how it will start, how the server will start, it will be using this dot listen method, in which the first parameter is the port number on which the local host will start. And the second parameter is the callback function that will just let us know that the server has been started by just consoling the statement, which is server running at this particular string over here. as we have already seen, we can see in our VS Code also. Whenever the server starts, we can see this particular line, a console again and again. That just shows that the server has already started. So now when we work with the backend, we have few status codes that are very important for us. Like when you will create APIs at your end, we will see later on how APIs. We have also done one of the API that in which we were creating we have created four APIs. One was the root, second was the about, third was the home, and the one was the contact. So whenever we create multiple APIs, multiple routes, we try to check them at our end only. So for that, we have multiple backend tools like Postman, or the in the VS Code they provide the extension which is Thunder Client. So we check our status over there, and and then that tells us that whether our APIs are working fine or not. If any error occurs, so we just resolve it so that our front end works fine. So whenever you will work in the groups, or you work in your company and you are working as the backend developers, it is your responsibility to so that all your routes, all your APIs are working fine. So here are few common HTTP status codes. Like for example, the first code is 200, which says that it is okay, the message is okay, and the description is that standard response for successful HTTP request. So whatever if any of the route, if any of the API is trying to access the database, or any functionality is happening over that particular route, and the message is 200, okay, that means or that particular API is working fine. Next is the code 201 created. That means request has been fulfilled and new resource has been created. This is also another way of saying that the API is working fine for us. Next is 301, move permanently. Resource has been moved to a new URL. 400 is the bad request. So this particular code is for the one for when the route doesn't work fine. And there are few changes and that should be made and updated so that the API starts working again. Like it says, server cannot process the request due to client error. 401 is unauthorized whenever you will use the JWT authentication or JWT tokens, you will see such kind of errors while creating your website, which will be for authentication problem if the user is not authenticated and it is trying to access your website. Next is 403 forbidden. If in, that is the one where the server refuses to authorize the request. If any unauthorized person has tried to breach your website, uh, website rules and regulations, so that will just be so that particular user will be forbidden, and the status for that particular user will be forbidden, which is by code the browser will get to know by this code, which is 403. 404 is not found if in case your website is trying to access the database and trying to access any particular ID which is not present. For example, you have the database for the user and you are trying to access um, the for trying to access any ID which is not present in the database, then that will just show U404 not found. Even if we try to see, as I have checked for the Amazon.in last in the last class, if I go to today's deals and if I try to access one of the route that is not present in the database, so what does is my screen visible to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Server did not connected. Akriti, is it still not working?
No, ma'am, I tried, but it didn't open.
Okay, so just share your screen. Let me see what is the problem.
And is it visible?
Yes.
And I write the code, but when I go to the server, it didn't open.
I can't see your VS Code right now. The only Meet screen is being shared.
And is it visible?
Yes. Try to run it.
It
It
didn't
is not
open.
getting started. Okay, so your code is not saved. So it should run. It is still not saved, I guess. Your code is not saved.
I saved it, ma'am.
Now it is running.
Thank you, ma'am.
You have just performed the same step. Why was it not happening?
I think the
Was
problem
it
is
the
that I
problem that
didn't
you have
save
not?
it. Yeah.
Okay. Good job, Abhishek. You have found the problem. Okay, so just let me reshare my screen. Okay, so I was telling you the different code that you might see in your some of the, let me show. So like over here, they are not showing the page, the code over here, but you might have seen somewhere in the profiles in the, let me see for the other. Okay, so it is not showing the error, but you must have seen somewhere in the profile, in the few of the websites like 404 page not found something. But over here you can see, right? See, for the page that they do not have the backend page for like page that do not have at their backend, it is showing us the code which is 404 document not found. Right? Is it visible to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So that is how 404 code is being used whenever the document is not being found or the page doesn't exist for that particular route. Even if I go to our route and try to access any of the other routes, we will see it is not showing that page. But you will see, you must just got have, you would have understood by this how the 404 page not found works. That is requested resource could not be found. And what is the meaning of 500 code? It is saying that internal server error, unexpected condition was encountered. So very prominent codes that you will see, it will be the 200, 400, and 201, and even the 401 when you will try to access your do some authentication at your website. So these will be the even the 400 also will be the prominent ports that you will see while checking your routes or the APIs. Yes, any doubts? Okay, is it clear how different codes will work for your website and what is the meaning? Is it okay? Okay, so can anybody tell me what is the meaning of code 200? Success code, right? 201 created. The request has been fulfilled and the new request has been created. Yes, that's correct. And what is the meaning of 400 code? Page not found. No, I'm asking about the code 400. Yes, it is the bad request. That is the some problem is from by the client side. That is why it is showing us the 400. And what is the meaning of 401 error? Four zero one. What is the meaning of 401 code? Unauthorized. Yes. So if any unauthorized user is trying to access to your website, that will just show you the 401 code. And 404 code, What is the meaning of 404 code? Not found. Yes, whichever request the client is asking for has not meant was not found, and that is what is saying us 404 not found. And what is the code for forbidden? If any user has been forbidden by his or her actions on your website, yes, it is 403. And one of the last one, what is the code for internal server error? Server side error is 500. Yes. And the code for client side error? Yes. Do not get confused with these two codes, client side error and the server side error. Server side error is 500 and the client side error is 400. So let's go on to next. Common response headers are there. Content type specifies the media type of the content, like what type of content we are asking. Like for over here, we have just specified the content type, which is HTML. Content type is text or plain HTML. So that is why we have got a plain text. For example, if we change the status to the HTML, like over here, they have given the example text or HTML. If we change it to application or JSON, let's say, what that will print for us, or if any error will occur. Application JSON, saving it. The server has been started. Going back to the browser, refreshing it, and we can see that it is not showing the changes. So we have got the HTML changes. What I have done over here, I have just tried to change the content type, changing it to text to HTML. So now it is giving me the output in the HTML format, like in the H1 tag, because I have specified the H1 tag. So I've got the heading kind of text, but it was not showing for the JSON format. JSON slash application. So it is ideally JSON format in the curly braces, but it's not showing it in the curly braces. But it is just showing me the text which that I have pasted over here. It is not coming in the H1 tag now, but a simple text that is It must show in the curly braces, but it is not showing over here. Okay. So this understand this content type is for the type of content that you would want. Basically, JSON format is when the text comes inside the curly braces, and in the object type of format. We will see in the Express, when we will use the Express, then we will be able to see how the difference makes. Whenever we give some changes, whenever we give some text to Postman or Thunder client also, we try to check our text, our routes. So whenever we by trying to give the input in the JSON format, then you will see how the what is the JSON format and how it will make changes. Next is content length, the length of the response body and bytes, location, set cookies, cache control, and access control allow origin. So these are the prominent common response headers that you will use, that you might use if you are using the HTTP module for creating servers, but prominently we use Express.js for that. So that was all how you can create servers by using the HTTP module, like working with URLs and query strings. Okay, so next example is for the basic URL handling, like working with URLs and query strings. So Node.js provides built-in modules to work with URLs and query strings, making it easy to handle different parts of a URL and pass parameters. So whatever you see over here, this is the URL over here. So what do you mean by query strings? Like over here, if I go back, whatever that is written after this question mark is the query strings. And the whole code, whole line, whole string is the URL for us. Just do know the difference between query strings and the URL. URL is the whole string that you are seeing over here in the search bar, but the query strings are those text or set of strings that is written after this question mark. So after this question mark, from I to this mobiles is the query string over here, and this whole thing is the URL. Is it clear? What is URL and query string? Is it clear the difference between the URL and query strings? Okay. What about others? So let's go back to this. Accessing the request URL, the request.url property contains the URL string that was requested, including query parameters. This is part of the http.incoming message object. So let's see what that will print. It is printing that you made a GET request. So first of all, they are just requiring the library. Next is they have tried to create the server by using the create server method that is taking two responses, which is request and response. Initially, they are trying to get the URL and its HTTP method. See, over here, they are trying to get the methods that are already present in the request, which is URL and method. And now they are trying to, first of all, set the content type, what type of content we want, which is normal text or plain. And the response will be that you made a what type of method that you have tried to make. Over here, they have tried to make the get request and the URL. So whatever URL, since we have working on our root file, that is why it is printing this normal slash. So this slash means root route. And this get request is a type of request when we just want to print the normal text, and we are not trying to fetch any database or any changes are being made in the website. So that is when we just give the get request. We will see in the Express when we will work with the Express.js, then you will see the different types of requests over there. Let us just run this code. And after we have just console the type of request that this particular server is making, we are just trying to listen to the server at the port 3000. So let's run this code in our system. The server has been started over the port, which is 3000, and checking it on our browser, that will just print you made a get request to which port. So on the root route, I am making a get request over here. That is what it is also printing, that get request is being made to the root route. Next is passing URLs with the URL module. So now will try to add some of the URL. Now, this URL module provides the utilities for URL resolution and passing. It can pass a URL string into a URL object with properties for each part of the URL. So initially, they have just tried to import the libraries, which is HTTP and URL. And next, they have tried to create the server inside which two parameters as usual will be there, for which is request and response. And now they have tried to pass the URL. What is being passed inside the passed URL using URL.pass, request.url is being set to true, and then getting different parts of the URL. So now it won't give the, let's see what that will print in our code. Because since we do not have any query strings, it won't give us the valid answer. Okay, so the now it is showing us the JSON format. Let's see how what is being printed, and we will just decode whatever it is being printed over here. Initially, they have just tried to import the two libraries, which is HTTP and URL. And after that, they have created the server as usual, which is checking two parameters, which is request and the response. Now they have set the request.url set to true. So what is this particular statement doing? Now we can access to our URL. Whatever URL we are currently in, it will just give me the details of that particular URL. And that is why we have set the request.url to true, so that we can get access to the URL that we are currently in. Next is const path name, pass URL.path name, so that the path, because it will just give me the path which is without query string. And this query, so if any of the queries exist in my particular URL, it will then those queries will be appended to this query variable. Since we do not have any query right now, let me see over here. We do not have any query right now. That is why it is telling me that it is giving me this empty object over here. And if I see right, like over here, so similar write head function method has been used. In case the 200 request is being there, that everything is working fine, then it will just print the type in the JSON format, which we can see over there also. And what that will print, it will just print the console will be there. The JSON will be stringified. That is, this method is to convert the JSON format to the string. And what will be printed? First of all, the path name will be printed. Next is query and the full URL. Like over here, we can see initially the path name is our root route because we do not have any other routes. Yeah, it is not making any changes because we are currently working in our root route only. Yeah, now it is giving me the change. See, currently I am in my path name, which is the root route. That is why it is giving me the simple slash. since I do not have given any queries over here, that is why I have a empty object. Like over here, curly braces are empty, and the full URL is also the single root, which is I am in the currently root route. Let's give it some routes like about section. I am want to access my about section. Enter, and now the path name is about, and the full URL is about. And now if I give some queries over here by giving the question mark and just the random strings, it will just give me the so I initially the query strings has to be in the object format only because I have not given any value to my key. That is why it is giving me the empty value to my particular key. Basically, if you do not know how the query strings are being stored, it is being stored in the JSON format. They must have key. They must be in the key value pairs. So this one is the key, and this is the value. That is, this is the particular property, and the property's answer is after this colon. So this is the key value pair. So query also stores the key value pairs. Like if I give now, if I give the same query string over here, let's see what that will print in our code. Question mark and we paste. Let's see. So now it is showing us the different query strings over here. I have my path name. So basically, this is telling me that on which route I am currently in. I am currently in my about route. After that, whatever query strings that I have given is inside this query key, which is inside. It is also the contents are being stored in the object mode only. So inside IE, it is storing the value UTF-8. In the node, it is showing me this particular value, and in the reference, it is showing me this nav CS mobiles. And the full URL is the from the slash to the whole till mobiles. How the query strings are being written or provided in the URL? It is in the format. First of all, you have to provide this question mark, and then the key value pair, like the key is IE, then is equal to and the value over here. If you want to give more strings, you just have to append this and then the next key, and again the value, and again this and mark, and again this query string. Let us add another query string by our end, which can be the key can be Amazon is equal to and the value for this demo. That will just give me another key query string over here. And my full URL will also have another some set of another strings that will be appended to my previous string. So I'm just pasting the same code in the chat box. Try it at your end. You will just get to know how different URLs are being working. When you will see any URL now, you will get to know what is the URL, how different query strings are being passed. Let us check for um, another thing. So I will just paste this query string in our after this and I will just paste the query, which is reference nav, and the new releases will be added. So I have another another reference section. So inside the reference, because I had given two values to my reference key, that is why I am having the array of values that is being stored inside this reference key over here. So I'm just copying this URL also. You will get to know the output. Try for this particular string, and then you will know. And just paste the screenshot in the chat box so that I can see. And if in case you did not understood any statement from this particular code, just let me know. I will try to explain you. Try to give some queries to your URL. Yes, that's good. What about others? Any doubts still here? Just let me know. I'm just moving forward. If you have any doubts, just drop in the chat box. So that was all how query strings can be passed. You will be able to access your URL. Let's try to make some changes in our code. If I set to false over here, that is default. If I will get any answer now, just make any changes. So now, what is the change that has been used, that has been shown over here, that now our query is not being stored in the object manner. And if I go back and just change the same to true, what that will make change. So that is being stored in the object file. The only thing that is making change over there. So pass URL not pass equals dot URL is been set to true. It is giving us in the object. Only the method of providing the output is being changed and nothing else is being changing over there. Right? Okay, so let's get back to this. So they have just given the example. If we provide this particular query, it will just give me the path name is to the products, and whatever queries that we have passed to our request to our URL will be stored over like this. Working with query strings. For more advanced query strings handy, you can use query string module. We have also been provided with the explicit independent module, which is query string. That will just give us the details of the query. uh, let's see over by this example only the similar kind of functionality, but just the way of writing, because now we are trying to access the same kind of functionality by using this query string module over here. So some common URL passing methods are being provided, which is url.pass, format, resolve, even the new URL. Just the very common passing methods are being there. Next is handling different HTTP methods, how that is being done. Let's see. RESTful APIs commonly use different HTTP methods, which are get, post, put, delete, etc., to perform different operations on resources. Here's how to handle different HTTP methods. So now it is telling us how we can use different HTTP methods and just see. So we will see this particular API thing when we will do the Express.js. For now, I am just skipping this. And we will see this in the later when I will just cover the Express.js for you. Let's see some of the best practices. So basically, you will get to know different type of methods. Uh, in brief, a little not in the very detailed way, but you will just get to know the intro, what is the use of those methods. So get is for the retrieving the resources or collection of resources. So basically, whenever we want to access to our database and we just want to console it on our browser, like over here also we were just giving the response and ending the connection. So that is why we were using the get request. And when we use the post method, when we want to make some changes on our new resource, like we already have um, for example, I already have this about, and if I give a particular button over here, and if I click on this particular button, I am getting redirected to the another route, which is contact section. So some kind of changes that is being occurred in the web browser. Then for that we use post request. What is the use of put request? Updating an existing resource or creating if it doesn't exist. So a very similar kind of functionality that is being for the post and put, but now the post is for the updating method. If any existing thing is already there, then updation will be done. Otherwise, that particular thing will be created. So that is what it is telling us also, that updating an existing resource, if the resource exists, then updation will be done. Otherwise, it will be created independently. Next is patch, partially updating a resource. There is a delete method which will just remove the resource, and here same as get but without the response body. And next is options. They describe the communication options for the target resource. Very prominently, you will be using in your websites will be the get, post, and put, patch, and delete. So these five are the important methods that you must keep in mind, that you will see in some tutorials or any project that you are trying to access from somewhere else. The prominent methods will be these five only. Is the Are these methods clear to you all? What is the use of these methods? Okay, so tell me about the post request. What is the use of post request? What you did understood, not the definition that is being provided in the article. What you understood by the post request. Okay. What about others? Yes. And what rest we use to send data from the client. And what is the use of put request? Difference between post and put request? Yes, that is a very clear definition. Post is for adding a new data and put is for modifying it. Response given by the server to the client's request. Yes, you can say that also. And what is the difference? And what is a patch used for? Then how patch and put are different from each other? How will you know that you should use put request or the patch request? Yes, you are all correct. It is put when you use put request, it will just update the full data from your browser, basically replace the new thing with the previous one. And the patch one is the partial update, as Rocky told us. It will just send change the few fields from the browser and not the whole content, right? Modify. Yeah. Others, is it clear about the different methods? And what about the delete method? Remove the data, yes. A simple deletion. So, what are the different methods that we have covered till here? The prominent ones that you will see and you will use very prominently are the five methods. Just list them out. Okay, so we have five methods, which is post, get, put, patch, and kill. So we have covered these error handling codes, 200 and 500. Streaming responses. So it is just another example how you can get use these different modules. Let's see the benefits of streaming. Okay, this one is the example you just run at your end. A kind of example only how you can use multiple modules over here. We will get to this exercise now. Drag and drop the correct method that is used to create an HTTP server in Node.js. HTTP.server, HTTP.create server, HTTP.listen, or HTTP.make server. What will be the answer for this question? A method that is used to create an HTTP server in Node.js. HTTP.create server. Yes, that's correct. Just let me know what are the which functions apart from this. Okay, this HTTP.create server is already correct. Which is the other another function, or are the another functions methods that are correct from the HTTP module that you have covered in this whole article? This HTTP.create server is used to create the server. Up with from these HTTP.server, HTTP.listen, and make server, which one is the correct method that we have seen in this article? And what is the use of HTTP.listen? To connect the server to a particular port. Yes. And what are the two parameters that dot listen method takes? It is port and the callback. So port will just contain the port number and callback function will just let us know the server has been started. And what are the parameters that are being passed to the dot create server method? Request and response. Yes. Abhinav, do not get confused. Whenever we use the create server method, we pass the parameters which are request and response, because whenever you will create the server, you will need to get the request from the client and then you will respond to that particular request, right? And for creating the server, you will need the port on which you have to start your server, and the callback function mainly will just mainly tell you that the server has been started. Is it clear? Abhinav, is it clear? Do not get confused by this. Okay. Moving to HTTPS module. So let's see how HTTP and HTTPS module is different from each other. So in the HTTPS module is a core Node.js module that provides an implementation of the HTTPS protocol, which is essentially HTTP over the TLS or SSL. It is a secure version of the HTTP module, providing encrypted and communication between clients and servers. So it is just the extension version of the HTTP module by providing some encryption, basically providing some security features. So why do we have to use HTTPS module? It is crucial for modern web applications because it encrypts data, providing us some extra encryptions and security, protects sensitive information like passwords, credit card numbers, and personal data from the eavesdropping, authenticates servers, verifies that clients are communicating with the intended server, ensures data integrity, prevents data from being modified or corrupted during transfer, builds trust. Visual indicators like the padlock icon increases user confidence, improves SEO. Search engines prioritize HTTPS websites in search results, and enables modern features like many web APIs like geolocation service workers require HTTPS module. See, when a very common error that we do while checking for the backend APIs, whenever you will check for your APIs from your local system, like when you are using the Postman or the Thunder client, you will always check in the HTTP server. But your main server always runs in the HTTPS server. Do not get confused by this, because whenever we check for those APIs at our backend, we do get confused and we get errors like that. So HTTPS is mainly for the main browser because their encryption is needed. The passwords and the security purpose is very important, and we do not want our passwords to get eavesdropped by others. That is why the browser, like even they have listed also that geolocation or service workers use this HTTPS, but our local system usually use the HTTP only. Let's see what is the URL for this. Like over here also, you can see the URL is HTTP over here. Why is that so? Because we are trying to run a server at our local system. That is why it is using HTTP. But if you see any of the websites, like you can see over here, they have the link which is HTTPS module, which is with some which is telling us that this is the extension version of the HTTP, but with some added security features that will just prevent us our information like passwords, credit card numbers, and personal data from getting eavesdropped. How it is being used? It is just a simple use of HTTPS module. We will see a common requiring the HTTPS module or we can use importing. As I told you that whenever we use ES modules, we just have to uh, write import HTTPS from the HTTPS library. So this is a kind of a very advanced topic for now. We will just, you should understand what is the difference between HTTP API and the HTTPS API. Let's see what they are telling us. The HTTPS module has the same interface as the HTTP module, with the main difference being that it creates connection using TLS or the SSL. This means that all the methods and events available in the HTTP module are also available in the HTTPS module. Nothing difference is there, but the way of creating or the way of handling the features or the websites is being different. The main difference is that this HTTPS requires this SSL or TLS certificates, while the HTTP does not. So these basically these certificates are for the security purpose only. That will just prevent our personal information from getting eavesdropped or the unauthenticated users cannot access to our personal information. That is why all the browsers are being using this HTTP S module. Is it clear the difference between HTTP and the HTTPS? Like you can see when I posted the link from my local system, it was running in this HTTP module. But the main files that you can see over here, the main websites that are running on the browser are always using this HTTPS. If we go to any other, so all are using this HTTPS kind of URL for at their end. Can you see all these websites? So are you all getting the difference between HTTP and HTTPS module? Like what is the use of HTTPS? It will be very helpful when you will run or try to check your APIs from your Postman or Thundercloud. It is whenever you are very new to the backend tool, which is Postman, and you try to check your route or the API, you always get confused between the HTTP and HTTPS, and you just could not understand the error that it is giving and why it is giving. It is because prominently the browser websites are always using HTTPS and our local system uses HTTP because since we are already working in our local system, our personal information are not getting breached by us only. That is not possible at all. Okay, so just tell me what is the difference between HTTP and HTTPS? What did you understand? Yes, HTTPS is more secure. Not secure, data is sent as plain text, while HTTPS secure, data is sent through encryption. Yes. This is local system and this one is the, yes, that is a very good example. Good job. Yes. So that is the main difference between HTTPS and HTTP. Okay. So we will move to the next module, which is file system module. That is also one of the major topic that you will see in multiple ways. Like this file system, if you are working with ML or learning Python, you will see this file system module very prominently used over there. This we will cover tomorrow. We will start with the new module tomorrow so that it will be good to start with the new topic. Apart from that, if you have any doubts still here, you can ask. Plain text, anyone can intercept it. Yes, and it is encrypted using SSL and TLS certificates saves against hackers. Yes, that's correct. Okay, so that is all for today. We can wrap up this class now. If you have any doubts regarding anything, so you can ask. Otherwise, you all are now allowed to leave this session. Thank you for being till the end. Good night.
Hello.
Yes, Akriti.
Ma'am, I wanted to know the procedure to submit the project.
The project you have not shown for this week.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so first of all, you have to record your project at your end, like you explained in the session. And then, since you will get the video of it, then you will upload that particular video on your own Google Drive. Then, in the main email that you get mini projects at the rate gncipl.com, on that particular mail only, you will have to submit the link of that video from the drive.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Uh, for now, project showcasing will be only on Monday and Tuesday. So it will be good for you all if you try to present on the Monday and Tuesday only, because after that it will be a very big procedure for your submission of the project presentation. So now you will get the time of project presentation on the Monday and Tuesday only. Is it clear, Rocky? Okay. Okay, any doubts from you all?